I've been trying to figure out what to do with my channel recently. January, views are always down in January, just always down. So that's a good time to reanalyze your content and figure out what you're doing wrong, what you can do better. And it's a struggle. I mean, there's just a limited amount of things you can talk about when you're off grid, but I try to encourage people to live their dreams. And the thing is I get a standing number of people who tell me that it doesn't matter what kind of videos I make, they learn something in every video. And I get that kind of comment all the time. So I get more comments like that than I do, oh, you're repeating yourself again. So I've come to the conclusion that the trolls are the ones that are aggravated about me repeating myself because they run out of things to criticize. Let's talk about the well again. And the reason I want to talk about the well is because there was a guy in, I think, France, if I understood the email correctly, who is from Britain. So as my wife wanted to move to France, I mean, I don't understand the whole European thing, but that's great. It would seem to me it'd be like moving from, I don't know, Missouri to New York. That's just my opinion. I don't know for sure. But he was impressed with my well. Now, the first thing I want to say about that email, it was very long, very informative, and I appreciate the email. But I think he may have gotten confused on my temperatures. Now, I said that our IBC tank RV pump, not the IBC tank, the RV pump that pumps water from the IBC tank into the house usually freezes at -6. Now, when I said that, I hope I implied, that's Fahrenheit. I'm from the United States. Us Americans only have one temperature in our head. We don't think about anything else but Fahrenheit. Americans only talk about Fahrenheit. That's it. Feet, inches, Fahrenheit. I'm being a little sarcastic, but that's just how we think. We don't think about Celsius. So he was emailing and it was telling me how to do my water tank system better and said, I get down to -6 Celsius all the time. And I've never froze in the last 8 years that I've done my system. Well, I disagreed with a few things. One, he said I needed to raise my tank up off the ground. Well, if I do that, I lose the heating from the ground. The ground actually produces quite a bit of heat. So that's why one of the reasons I lay my RV pump right on the ground. It's warmer there. Even though cold air falls, the hot air rising from the earth is helping heat. If I had that gap, like he suggested, I forget, he said like 16 inches gap in between the ground and the tank, I would lose that. And then all I got is that cold air underneath it. So I disagree with that, but that's fine. The other thing is the misinterpretation between Celsius and Fahrenheit. Because he said he never freezes at -6 Celsius. -6 Celsius is 17 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't freeze at 17 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't even lose sleep at 17 degrees. I'm not worried at 17 degrees at all. As a matter of fact, I don't even start to get concerned until I start getting down into single digits. And even at that, I'm not that concerned. But when we get down in the negatives, that's when I've known that I've been beat. I'm going to work on the system a little bit better. I think more insulation is the key. We were talking about using hay bales because there was a comment in the one of the off-grid Facebook groups said to use hay bales. And I thought about that, but then you'd have a nest for mice. And right around there by the house, I'm just not sure I'm interested in that. But I might work on some sort of insulation to help improve my conditions next year. Always trying to improve. So he got to talking about the well, and he said I needed to make a clarification because it took him a while to figure out what I was talking about. This is the well. It goes down, I'm going to say 130 feet. I don't really remember. I dropped a string down there one time and I measured it out, but I have forgotten. So the well pump goes down about 100 feet, just a little shy of 100 feet. So the well pump looks like this. It's exactly like this actually, except this one is I want to say 4-inch diameter, and the one that's in the well is 3-inch diameter. That one is smaller for certain because this is a 4-inch pipe. This one would not have fit with all the trim on it. I would have taken all that off. So instead of doing that, I put a smaller pump in. I took this one out. This was the first one I bought. And this one brings up a lot more water. This one brings up 33 gallons per minute. And this one, I've been saying 15 gallons, but I looked it up. It's 13 gallons per minute that this one brings up. For some reason, I wasn't paying attention. I would suck my well dry pretty quick with this one. So this one's just a backup. I can take all the fixtures off and I can drop it down there if I had to. If something went wrong, I would just buy a new 3-inch pump and keep this one a backup. But I don't ever see need to use it. Now I bought this off Amazon, and you can run it off 110 outlet. So my generators, you can just plug it into the wall. And this is pretty nice because most of them are 220. The downside to this pump is you can see it right here. It rusts. Everybody talks about the rust in the review section of Amazon. This is made by Hallmark, like the card company, you know, the greeting card company. It's not the same company, but that's the name of the company, Hallmark. But the rust doesn't seem to bother me at all. It doesn't hurt. So I can run this off my solar panels, my inverters, and my generators. One thing I always say is this cannot freeze because there is no water in it. The way I prevent water from being in it, when I kick it on, it takes several seconds for water to come out of here because the water level of the pipe, this pipe is 70 feet down. I've drilled a hole in the pipe 70 feet down. When I turn it on, water is shooting out of that hole and comes flying out of here. When I shut it off, you can hear it go, goes right back down and empties the pipe. The guy from Britain, France, said he didn't understand how I was not losing suction. It took him a while to figure it out, and so he thought I should explain it. Does all its suction right here. So what happens is you drop this well down into the water. And so I've put a pipe here. So you can see this pipe. I've put a pipe here to simulate this. This pipe, the pump kind of hangs off of. Now I've used rope. You can hook rope up here also. So you use rope to drop it down, but you could hang the pump off the pipe here. When you turn the pump on, the pump is in the water and the water goes in here. So this is the motor. Down here is the motor that turns it, the electric motor. Water sucks in into this screen here and goes up the pump and up the pipe. So right above the pump, I don't know, 30 feet or so, I've drilled a hole. So what happens is as water is being pushed up the pipe, it shoots out a little bit out of this hole, which is fine because I've got too much water coming out already. 13 gallons a minute, but the recovery rate of the well is 5 gallons per minute. So if I let it go full blast, I would run out of water until it had time to refill. Well, you don't want to run these pumps dry. That would be bad. So I throttle this down quite a bit. I turn it almost all the way off, and I get it down to 5 gallons a minute. But a lot of that comes through that hole in the pipe. The other advantage to that is if I do accidentally shut this off, I still got water flowing. Not a lot through that hole, but it is flowing. The other thing I did was I put a piece of plastic over that hole right here. Let's say there was a hole here. I put a little piece of plastic over it. Let's just call this a piece of plastic right here. I'm just going to use this as an example. And I covered it like this, and then I taped the plastic at the top. So the hole is in the center here. I taped the plastic around. That way, water isn't shooting out and hitting the side of the well. Because if it does, you can get debris to fall down, dirt and rock and sediment. You don't want all that to fall down. So if you can just get it to hit that plastic, it'll dribble down the pipe. Instead of spraying out, it'll hit that plastic and just kind of dribble down. So it keeps it from getting the well dirty. So this pump does not suck. So we're not losing suction. It sucks from here, but it doesn't suck from above. So this pump is in the water. It was a very good observation that I probably should have explained better. Now, the other part of this video I wanted to talk about, since we're kind of addressing comments, is this comment that people can't get past: living with modern technologies, modern conveniences, modern stuff. And what they don't seem to understand is one modern convenience can actually make you do something else with another modern convenience. And they don't even understand that if you get rid of the one modern convenience, you don't even need the other modern convenience. One of the things that I talk about a lot is air conditioning, especially in the summer. We cannot air condition the camper. I've showed you the camper. When Carolyn's son stayed here for a while in that camper, he needed air conditioning. He couldn't live without it. So we put a window air conditioner in it. We had that window air conditioner in our little truck camper when we first moved on the property, because truck camper was sitting right underneath the sun midday. That thing was terribly insulated, didn't have very big windows, so we couldn't get a good fan breeze going through it or anything. So we put an air conditioner in, and just occasionally we'd run it on the hottest part of the day. We'd start it up about 2 in the afternoon. Shut it off probably by 5. Well, now that we've upgraded our solar panels with a new charge controller, some extra batteries, got 2 new solar panels, we have no problem running that air conditioner at all. But we're going to leave it in the camper. One reason is because we cook and we do our canning in the camper. So it can get pretty hot in there when we're cooking and canning. So we can run that air conditioner and it'd be a little bit better off in there. In the house though, we don't need air conditioning. We've lived in it for what, 3 or 4 years now, 3 years? And we have all these trees. Of course, right now you can't really see it because there's no leaves on it, but we have all those trees over the house and it keeps us shaded very well. And it does get hot, but I honestly believe that heat is not that big of a deal. I know people just completely disagree with me. You cannot live in the heat. People from Canada will say, oh, you can't live in the heat. And then people in Florida, oh, the heat's the most deadly thing in the world. Actually, cold weather kills more people than hot weather. You can look it up. People will argue with me. People have argued with me. But in the cold, when you get cold, there's not anything you can do about it. You get wet and cold, you will freeze. You'll get hypothermia and you will die. Unless you can figure out a way to get warmed up, you're going to die. But if you want to avoid a heat stroke, it's easy. Sit in the shade and drink water. Your body is designed to cool itself. You're not going to die if you drink plenty of water. That is the problem, though. People don't drink water. They drink sodas and beers, and they'll say, oh, no, just stay hydrated. Just drink fluids. Doctors will say that. Just drink fluids. Well, if you're just drinking fluids like alcohol or soda, you're going to dehydrate. It's got sugar. It's got garbage in it. Oh, you can't drink that much water? You got to have electric lights. Well, salt is an electric light. Anything that makes your body send electrical signals will do it. So this has calcium in it. Lots of calcium. So this I need electrolyte, which means I need sugar, is a bunch of hooey. You don't need sugar. If you can't live without air conditioning, then that means there's other technologies you can't live without. I always get this question about a ventilation fan for the shower. Don't you have a ventilation fan for the shower? How do you ventilate the shower? All that steam from the shower. Well, we don't have a steam problem from the shower because we don't have air conditioning. It's foggy today. It was foggy. I mean, it's still kind of foggy. You may be able to see the fog out in the distance. So the reason it's foggy is because the air temperature is, in this case, warmer than the ground temperature. So it causes steam. So if you have an air conditioner, you got it 60 degrees in the house. I know that's an exaggeration. 65 degrees in the house. And then you have a 120 or 125 degree shower. Guess what you're going to get? Steam. So we had this old drafty house. And it was cold in the bathroom all the time in the wintertime. And you turn on the shower, it still produces a lot of steam because it was just an old, drafty house. Cold against hot produces steam. Condensation, just like a soda can. In the summertime, when I'm taking a shower, of course, you take a cooler shower. So your temperature of your shower is probably about the same temperature as the outside temperature. Most people keep their showers probably right around 115 degrees, roughly. But in the summertime, you'll probably drop that down to 100 degrees. Well, if it's 100 degrees outside and 100 degrees in the shower, there's no steam. If you're running the air conditioner, though, and you got it 60, and well, you're actually probably going to turn it up because you're cold in the shower because you got an air conditioner blowing on you. So you're back up to 115, 120 degrees, you're going to produce steam. So that means you need a ventilation fan to pull all that out. So your air conditioner, the technology of air conditioning, requires that you have a ventilation fan pulling that steam out of the shower. Well, we don't have air conditioning, so we don't have to worry about the steam in the summertime. Besides that, we have this amazing technology. No one else, I think, in the entire United States knows about this technology except for me and Carolyn. And it's absolutely fascinating that we hold the secret to this mystery. We have this thing called a window. What we do is we open the window and we put a fan in there. So if there is any moisture in the house, the fan kind of pulls it out side. Shh, don't tell anybody. Now in the wintertime, things change up obviously. We take a shower when the wood stove is on. So we try to time our showers to the wood stove. Well, the wood stove obviously is heating the house up to the same temperature probably as what the shower temperature is roughly. The other thing is the wood stove will remove moisture. I'm not really sure how that science works, but it makes the house very dry. That's why one of the reasons we bring our firewood in and let it sit for a week is so the wood stove will dry that out. The other thing is if you let it get too dry in your house, you may have to put a pot of water on your wood stove to put some moisture into the air. What I don't understand is when I was a kid, I didn't even know bathrooms had an exhaust fan in the bathroom until I was probably 13, 14 years old. I can't remember one place that we lived that had one, maybe a hotel room. What's amazing to me is that now that we're older, we act like, oh, we can't even live without an exhaust fan. I don't get it. How has this country gotten so spoiled in less than one generation, in less than one lifetime? Because I will get people in the comment section, oh, my grandparents, they lived off grid. We didn't have those kind of technologies. But now I'm older, I can't live without it. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was talking about the IBC tank. So if I can inspire you to get back to your roots, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.